It's just gone 5 o'clock. I'm Xolo Mgambi. Thanks for joining us on Newsnight. We start here. Another fuel price cut is on the cards. The price of petrol, diesel and paraffin will decrease on Wednesday. The Energy Department says the reductions are due to the rand-dollar exchange and the decrease in the average Brent crude oil price. For more on this, I'm joined by Robert Maake. He's the Director of the Fuel Pricing at the Department of Energy. Mr. Maake, thank you very much for your time. So, apart from the rand-dollar exchange, what other factors contributed to this decrease?
The main factor this time around is the low crude oil prices, which actually dropped to around $54, $55 US per barrel. And that's actually what helped us to get these big decreases. But we also, in line with the slate levy adjusting mechanism rules, the Department of Energy has removed the slate levy of 21.92 cents that was imposed 2 months ago because there's enough money in the slate balance. That's why the slate levy was removed.
Talk to us about that slate levy you speak about. This was instituted by the minister some 2 months ago, I would think. In fact, I think it was last month, Minister Khatebe. The reasoning, again, for him having done that, and you remember that shortly after that, lots of experts came on and said this is actually unsustainable. Is government likely to want to do that next time?
Yeah, I think you are referring to the once-off intervention that the Minister of Energy instituted 2-3 months ago, which we don't think as a department is something that we'll do again. As we said, it was a once-off intervention because there was a very huge outcry in terms of the fuel prices that were increasing month after month. But as far as the fuel levy is concerned, this has been there in the pricing structure of petrol and diesel, for more than 10 years. In fact, 2002, 2004, the rules were actually revised that time. So this slate levy, it works in line with the rules. The rules are saying if in the cumulative slate balance, when you look at the over-recovery on petrol and diesel, if you look at the amount that is sitting in the account, if it's less than minus 250 million, then you shall institute a slate levy. Automatically it kicks in. And then the amount of the slate levy will be determined by the amount of the money that is in the account at the time. So as we're speaking to you now, when you look at the cumulative balance in the slate account, it's sitting at over 600 million rand, which is way above the minus 250 million threshold. That is why the slate levy of 21.92 cents has been removed.
How much of a role did international factors like the Brexit issue, for example, played in the reduction of the fuel price? Economists and people who are analyzing the market are telling us that the reason why the crude oil price is dropping is mainly because there was no Brexit deal. So people are concerned about demand for petroleum products in the market. So there's concern that there might be an impact on demand, and hence the crude oil price has been dropping. So generally, the market sentiments out there is that there's uncertainty around Brexit, and they don't know how it impact the crude oil market and the petroleum market. Might they influence this particular fuel decrease in the future, perhaps when we have a Brexit deal?
We don't know. We don't know how the market will react to that. So hopefully it may not affect it, but we don't know. Nobody can predict what will happen.
Just finally, Mr. Maake, talk to us about the fuel pricing formula, because I believe this is also very much a factor.
Yeah, on the 23rd of November, the department gazetted the discussion document to review the basic fuel price, which is your import price for petroleum product. Remember, this formula has never been reviewed since 2003. So the idea is to get comments from consumers and everybody else. We have given them until the end of January next year. We will then consolidate all the inputs and then take it from there. So far, we have received more than 200 comments, and we are busy compiling them.
Just as a final question to you, the ordinary consumer there, all they're concerned about is, wow, fuel price decrease, what a relief. Might we see yet another cut in the months to come, or can we expect something completely different? I know you're saying that we are in the hands of international forces here.
I'm glad you know that very well. But, you know, the crude oil price is so far being positive and is continuing to go down. However, the flip side of it is the exchange rate. You know, the rand is weakening against the dollar on a daily basis. So our hope is that the rand will stabilize, and also the crude oil price will stabilize at a particular number so that we don't have the increases in February. But as things stand now, it's looking good, but it's too early to tell.
All right, Mr. Maake. Robert Maake, thank you very much for coming through. That was Robert Maake. He is the Director of Fuel Pricing at the Department of Energy. Let's